Welcome everybody with two beautiful smartphones on the table. The third one, you can ignore the dark one since we're only talking about the white phones now here on the table, which is not something racist I want to do. It's just it happens that the Galaxy A5 2016 is in a white model here, and my dad lent me his Apple iPhone 6s to compare. So both are beautiful phones. The only thing that differs them mainly is actually the price, since we have double the price here on the iPhone than on the Samsung. Otherwise, they're pretty similar when it comes to camera, when it comes to the ports and functions. So let's just try to compare them a little bit here. These beautiful both beautiful smartphones. Let me turn them around. You will see right away that the white back cover for the Samsung is obviously plastic covered with something glass, and the Apple has a full unibody metal body, but otherwise the Samsung has also nice metal design, and it not only feels great but is also great when it comes to ruggedness. If you look at both devices from the side or from any other angle, actually you can see that they're both nice and slim with 7.1 millimeters in thickness versus 7.3, but for that Samsung has almost double the battery size with 3000 milliamp inside versus 1715 milliamp in the iPhone. So headset jack, micro USB and USB Lightning, then speakers, microphone here on the bottom, so essentially pretty much the same. Again here on the side also volume rockers. Then we have a volume mute button for the Apple iPhone, which is standard for years now. Then we have a microphone on the top on the Samsung, which is built in here right next to the camera on the iPhone. And then if you turn it around, you will see that on this side again they look pretty similar with the on and off switch and right where the thumb should be. And then we have here, as you can see, also the SIM card slots with the nano SIMs fitting in, but Samsung actually has an extension with micro SD also, so you can also use a little bit more internal space, because internally we have only 16 gigabytes like with the lowest iPhone model, but with Samsung you can just buy 128 gigs for 40 bucks right now, extra to that 16, which is a lot cheaper than paying more than 200 bucks extra on the 16 gigabyte model on an Apple iPhone. So that's quite nice to have here the micro SD card slot, and you can expand that with up to 200 right now and maybe in the future more. So again, on the back you're able to see the cameras already before: 13 megapixel, 12 megapixel flash, but here we have a dual flash, and on both the camera sticks out a little bit, which is, if you ask me, a little bit sad, but obviously it doesn't matter much if you use a case or anything like that, and it doesn't stick out that much at all, so it doesn't disturb me. You can see it quite nicely here. It's really tiny how they stick out. What I hate about Samsung is that the home button always sticks out, so if something is right next to it in my pocket and they push on each other, you can see the device turns on right away. That doesn't happen with the iPhone. You can push as much as you want. The home button is not pressed because it goes inside. Both have a fingerprint reader inside, which is quite nice. You're able to see I was just unlocking my Samsung on the iPhone. I cannot unlock it since it's my dad's, but I can show you guys the camera on both, since I mentioned already before we have on both a nice comparable camera with 13 and 12 megapixel, while on the Samsung you can only record full HD. You can actually record up to 4K on the Apple iPhone 6s. So you can see here that both have beautiful pictures, quite nice and sharp, and also all kinds of features. I can show you guys here on top also. So we have on both HDR and all kinds of other things that you could use. If you turn them both around, you will see actually exactly the same camera with both having 5 megapixel, but Samsung has different lens in front of theirs, since the wide angle is just here again a lot better, but the colors are maybe a little bit more accurate on the Samsung, on the Apple iPhone, which is on the left. So if you need more wide angle and maybe a little bit faster camera, you can see it here that the iPhone is just a lot smoother when I move my head around. It's a little bit laggy and a little bit slower on the Samsung, but that's, if you ask me, not that important if the result in the end picture will be the same. So one more thing that the Samsung has that Apple doesn't have is the FM radio. What Apple has though is a 3D touch technology, which, if you ask me, is a nice little gag, but most people I think won't use it. Maybe for the keyboard to type a little bit faster, but otherwise it's not that interesting of a feature. Yeah, so otherwise there's not much to tell from me about the both phones. Both have a great battery life, great features, great haptics and great price on the Samsung. For Apple, it's always too expensive for me. If I want to buy a new one every year, it's just way too much, and to pay 300 to 400 bucks is just a lot better deal on the Samsung Galaxy A5 with almost all the same features except for the 3D touch here on the Samsung, and no 4K, which is not that important at all for most people to record with their video cameras. So thank you much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. This was a really short comparison here with these beautiful phones. Thank you much for watching again, and see you guys around on my YouTube channel.